Good afternoon and welcome to the May 15th, 2023 North Peace Complex Operational Update. My name is Hannah Swift and I'm the Fire Information Officer working with the Incident Management Team assigned to the North Peace Complex. I'm speaking today from our Incident Command Post in Fort St. John, BC, which is located on the traditional territories of the Doig River First Nations, Blueberry River First Nation, and Halfway River First Nations, who are part of the Treaty 8 First Nations and whose historical relationships with the land continue to this day. With the arrival of the anticipated cold front and wind shift forecasted, Scott Rennick, North Peace Incident Commander, will provide an update today on the Stoddart Creek wildfire and the Red Creek wildfire, both of which will be challenged by erratic winds and aggressive fire behavior. Today on site at the complex, there are just shy of 300 personnel, including structure protection personnel, contract crews, BC Wildfire Service unit crews, and initial attack crews, as well as support staff. In addition, there are 23 helicopters and 23 pieces of heavy equipment assigned to the complex. We would like to thank everyone for their ongoing support during this response. I'll now pass it over to Scott Rennick, Incident Commander, to provide today's update.
Thanks, Hannah. So we're seeing here now on the screen the two polygons that make up what we call the Red Creek wildfire and Stoddart Creek. So what I'll do is zoom down to Red Creek. We can talk about kind of what the activity was over the last 24 hours and what's happening as we move into the evening hours. Predominantly, our focus has been upon the east flank with this blue line. It represents a fire guard, which was completed a number of days ago. Was successfully either their planned ignitions that brought the fire's edge to it, or it was direct attack. So that means water and hose lay delivery. We've had crews for a number of days now working in this bay of fuel, which is a real heavy blowdown spruce area. Quite successful helicopter bucketing. They've made it about 75% or so, roughly around that through. But again, a really hard slog as they've been working that bay now for a number of days. Other work that's been happening is securing the south and the southwest flank, which was an addition from about 5 days ago, pushing in a wet line, which that means we're extinguishing the edge from the fire guard into the actual black. Heavy equipment has completed a guard that has come around the corner, working its way east to the Lower Cache Road, and that was done 2 days ago, with crews following up with hose lay and water delivery. So that's the gist of it. Towards the end of the day here, we were looking pretty good, but I'll sort of discuss the overall situation on both fires as we come into the evening hour, late afternoon, early evening hours. So. Yeah, 223, or pardon me, the Red Creek fire looking pretty good. Coming up to Stoddart Creek, last night's work was really predominantly trying to focus on an anchor of some sort with heavy equipment. So that was working from the highway east towards Stoddart Creek itself, and then coming off of a series of roads and actually working their way to the southwest, trying to connect up to a wetter area, which is, of course, the Stoddart Creek area. They weren't able to fully connect, unfortunately, because of the wet ground and being inaccessible for heavy equipment. Another work that was happening was securing along the highway's edge, at least for most of last night and this morning. And then, of course, SPS, structure protection, being out in these areas in Murdale, further to the south, and then down the Highway 97, either establishing hose lay, structure protection, or coming up with structure defense plans. Another one that's happened is a lot of work is happening up in Blueberry River First Nation, where we've been doing structure protection since last night, getting anything ready for a northward move. So one of the big things that's happened is, as Hannah was saying, is we have been impacted since probably 2 o'clock local time in the afternoon by heavy northerly winds. The cold front passage has arrived. And it is significantly impacting the fires as we speak, at least the one fire. 223 at this time seems to be holding, although crews have had to withdraw because of the smoke and visibility. Our visibility is down to about probably a kilometer at this point in time. So helicopter support, so aviation assets have had to return back to the Fort St. John Airport just due to the heavy smoke and lack of visibility, making it very dangerous to fly. At this time as well, the Highway 97 has been closed due to smoke impacts and fire advancing down on the highway on both sides at this point in time. We're still getting information at this point, but we do have the fire on both sides of the highway. Also, it has come out at Stoddart Creek, and it's again coming south and southeast at this point in time. So crews have pulled back to the highway, which is a safer access and egress point for them, as well as to the Murdale area at this point. So we're still engaging where we can on the fire, but visibility is very, very limited, and we will be working into the night, all night and into tomorrow morning, essentially, as we basically are going to have to pivot and move back and forth to protect values as best we can in the next day or so. Also, again, on Red Creek, still looking pretty good as of the last that we saw it. But again, we are being resourced up tonight and tomorrow as we continue to move forward and work these fires. Heavy equipment is also being restaged at certain points further south and to the east at this point in time on low beds. So those are there what carry heavy equipment to be able to react quickly as we can when we can start gaining containment. We have a pretty good line at this very east flank. It seems to be holding to a series of roads. So we do have a few areas that we're anchored in, but again, we're in a very dynamic situation and will be now for the next number of hours moving forward. Again, the safety of our staff and the public is really the most important thing at this point in time as we move into this sort of situation, which we will be tested and we will be severely over the next number of hours. With that, I'll turn it back to Hannah.
Thanks, Scott. Please continue to check the BC Wildfire Service Wildfire of Note webpage for the most up-to-date information on these involving incidents. And if you do have further questions, you can reach out to the North Peace Complex Wildfire Information Team at 778-362-4783, or you can send us an email at bcws.northpeacecomplex.info@gov.bc.ca. Take care and stay safe.